Hello, mates. It's the midweek fix. We're back on the cans because that's how we work. Well, I am. I don't know about the rest of the lads. We'll find out in a minute. The midweek fix this week is brought to you by Sienna Steps. She's about 4,000 short of our 120,000 target, which is unbelievable. There's loads of stuff going on for Sienna over the next couple of weeks before she flies out to America. So make sure you check the description and you will see the link there to her GoFundMe and you can help her get to that 120 grand. I look very weird tonight. My hair's all over the shop. I don't know what's going on. But tonight's show anyway is we're going to talk about a Klopp Masterclass on Sunday because Liverpool ain't getting enough credit. And to back that up, we're going to talk about how good Liverpool were. We're going to preview Preston. We're definitely going to do that. We're going to have a little look at Konaté, just holding the Man United side off with one arm, and we're going to have a look at Keita as well, and then we're going to go into winners and losers, which I can tell you this week is an absolute, it's packed with great stuff this week. Winners and losers, I have to say, packed with great stuff. Just an update for you. Chelsea won on penalties in the League Cup tonight against Southampton. I think Sunderland knocked QPR out and Arsenal beat Leeds. So with me tonight on the show there you can see Kev O'Sullivan, Conroy and Chris Brack, who is on beer. Great stuff. Conroy is probably on tea. Kev, I think, is on tea. But me and Chris are just alcoholics. So we're flying. But as I said, we're going to have loads of positivity here tonight. We're going to talk about that United game a bit more, if that's okay with everybody, and go through a load of bits. But the winners and losers, I promise, are brilliant this week. If you're in here and you're watching, please smash the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Share, whatever you need to do. Go and do that. Loads of fellas that are on this show just keep giving out to me for not saying that. So I'm saying it now. Okay, let's get going. Kev, I'm going to come to you first because, you know, Liverpool dismantled Manchester United on Sunday afternoon/evening at Old Trafford. We all know what score it was. And after the game, even across media, you know, Sky, wherever it might be, the vast majority was a discussion about how bad United were and how all over the place they are, or a shambles to this, that and the other, and we tried to bring something on Sunday night where we gave a mix of how good Liverpool were and also how bad United were, and we got drunk and we started talking karaoke songs and it all went all over the place. But I wanted to talk about Jurgen Klopp. I wanted to start with that, Kev, because I don't think he's been given enough credit for what he's done there on Sunday going into that game. I don't know if you agree with me, Kev, and if you do, would you like to give him some credit?
Oh, look, I mean, at the end of the day, all I said last week on any pod that I was on is play the game, not the occasion. And he's done it perfectly. He made changes. He made the right changes, to be fair. If you look back in hindsight, with the amount of games that some players have been playing, and the fact that I guarantee you, Konaté knew he was playing in that game for a good while.
Okay.
You know, he'd have primed himself ready for that game, and he'd have studied the movement of the players. He'd have watched the Atlanta game. He knew what he was getting himself into. Klopp doesn't leave anything to chance, and bar a couple of efforts in the first half that they had, they were schooled. They really were schooled. It was men against boys. By the end of it, it was like it was like a schoolboy game with the best and the worst against each other. It was better, the fact that for the last 20 minutes we exposed them for what they were. And they're just a poor football side against a very good, well-drilled side who, irrespective of what changes were made, they know the system. They know the runs. They know how each other plays. I saw a tweet there tonight, and I was going to send it to you, and I didn't. But it was Bobby Firmino's touch map for the game, and the guy's description of it was like we were playing with two number 10s for where he was picking the ball. He had about 6 touches in the box. Everything else was in midfield, all over the place, linking up the play. He just went unnoticed by everyone, and just did the neat and tidy stuff. Kept it moving, kept finding space, never let anyone settle. That's not by accident. That's a well-drilled side in action. You know, we saw it against when they played Atlanta the other night. We were like, you can't do this. You can't play this 4-2-4 against good sides. A good side will punish you. Paul Scholes was bang on. You know, in all fairness, he's try that against Liverpool and see what happens. It'll be 3 or 4-0. He was right. It was
And
3 and then 4.
yeah, and like staying with you before I move on to Chris and
Hmm.
Conroy. You know, United were poor, and I'm going to spoiler alert. I'm going to upend United again in about 45 minutes, right? But is this Kev down to Klopp because he looks at that, right? I seen a comment today on social media where it said Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sent United out to press high, but his players weren't too sure of the exact instruction, and this is what led. Now, for me, that's a complete another lie, right?
It's
It's
cop
madness
out.
what's coming out, and we'll get on to it later.
Yeah,
But but you have to give credit to Klopp here because yes, he probably tells Konaté well in advance that he's playing because he's going to deal, and Shawnee and others have touched on it. Jamie the other night that the pace of Rashford, right? I think Rashford up against Trent 1-on-1 is a great battle, but
yeah,
Trent wants to go the other way, and they'll try cheat and put Rashford in that channel. So Konaté's pace is good. It's a
yeah.
good
They
move.
did. They tried.
That's a good move. He keeps Keita in the side despite what went on during the week. He scores a goal. He's probably at fault for two of the two. Well, partly at fault for the two
Partly
Atletico
at
goals,
fault for both.
but he puts him back in. Gets him straight back in, right? Now, that
Yeah,
may be down to numbers, but he puts him straight back in. He could have done Jones. And then the Firmino thing where I think Firmino literally drops in and nearly makes it a diamond in midfield, knowing that these centre halves, with a half a press on the sides, and these centre halves willing to follow you, there's just going to be acres in behind. I think Klopp sees this well in advance and puts the players and the system and the movement in place. Because let's be honest about it, Liverpool weren't scintillating, but they were so
no.
efficient in their movement and their touch and how they got around Manchester United that I think Klopp has to take massive, massive credit for this.
Did you watch Match of the Day? Match of the Day too. Did you see the analysis
No,
after?
I can't. I can't bring myself
It
to watch it,
was
Kev.
it was actually really worth it because they did a piece on Naby and Jordan Henderson, and they, you know, when they put the two circles around the two players,
Yeah,
and they did that
Yeah,
from
it was really good. It was
yeah,
actually
they
really
did it
good, to
from
be fair.
McTominay and Fred, and they were all over the shop. One was going, one was they were just all over the show. Now, bear in mind that Naby and Jordan Henderson had never played with each other in the two ever, as far as I can remember. Anyway, not in a meaningful game. They were so in sync. Once one went, the other was behind on the cover, and it was constant all the time. There was no gaps in between. There was no ball that could get through them to get into Ronaldo to cause them problems. It was just little things like that. The Klopp is that they're. It's a combination of everything. It's the players' know-how after years of doing it, the players' willingness to do it after years of hearing the same voice telling them to do it, and then the manager having the craft to know how to motivate these players year after year after year after year. It's so rare that you see a manager at any club these days at the top level stay in a job for as long as Klopp and Pep are without having big drop offs. I mean, our drop off last year was purely injury driven. But in general, our standards for the last 2.5, 3 seasons are ridiculous. And that's mainly down to Klopp's motivation and being able to keep the players up. It's phenomenal how he does it. You know, it's a craft. It's a real craft, and the guy's a fucking genius. Let's be fair.
yeah, he is. He is a genius. Chris, I'm going to come on to you, and I'm going to talk to you about a player, and I'm going to talk to Conroy about a player. So I'm going to give you Ibrahima Konaté. That's his pass map against Manchester United. As you'll see, he completes the vast majority of those. Passes. I think there's a couple there they're showing as failed near their box, but I think they might be more interceptions than anything else, and I think they claim as a pass or whatever. But like as Kev said, and I tend to agree with him, Chris. He's been earmarked for this. I don't think Klopp throws him in away at Old Trafford and tells him on a Wednesday or Thursday. I think he's been earmarked, and they've looked at it, and it's probably been confirmed in Klopp's mind over the last week or so, looking at Matip and maybe a bit tired, and you know how kind of fragile Matip can be at times. But talking about Ibrahim Konaté, like what a game to come in and play, Chris. First of all, and second of all, the way he's just manhandling fellas around the place and straight in, 21, 22 years of age, going straight into the middle of United players when it kicks off, and as if to say, like, I don't give a fuck if this is my first away game. I don't care if it's Manchester United. I don't care if it's Old Trafford. I don't care if it's live on a Super Sunday. I'm in here, and this is who I am. I just thought it was brilliant from start to finish for him.
Oh, mate, it was awesome. It was pretty much seamless. And that's the biggest compliment I give him. It's like he's been playing in that position for 4 or 5 years for Liverpool. The bit I liked him, coming wide, he's not afraid to get the ball. He's very front foot. And the one thing where he probably has the edge over Gomez is the one that Gomez does get done for is the ball over the top in the air. It's still probably a weakness of Gomez that he's got to work on, but look, he cleared everything up. And I must admit, that Ronaldo moment where he kicks Jones showed me Liverpool are back mentally. Because I think you and me were on a pod after we got beat by Chelsea 1-0, and similar happened to Gino and Aldo, and no one gave a shit. They all just stood there and watched it happen. Nothing happened. Whereas here, the whole team got around him, bodied certain ones, throwing Fred around like a rag doll. It was like watching a wrestling move for those who watch. It was hilarious. But no, he was brilliant. I like the fact he's front foot. It's typical Liverpool, it's risk-reward. And I was amazed, because I did the pre-show, how many heads were falling off that he was started, and people having this head that because he's fourth choice, that you thought it was like I was putting I was putting Reece Williams on the side. He was brilliant. This is a lad who's won't be far off being a regular for France soon. He's immense. He's brilliant, and this is what Liverpool can do now, which we couldn't do last year. Which is we can now do horses for courses. Which is it'll be Konaté for Man United away, but maybe for Spurs at home. It'll be Gomez, because Gomez is better at covering in behind. It was immense. It was brilliant. And it gave Trent that little bit more freedom that he probably can't do with Matip because of the pace element of him. But also, he looks comfortable when he goes to right back. He doesn't look like a headless chicken, and really clever passing. So I thought he was brilliant.
I thought he was brilliant as well. And, with the huge thing we've seen from Matip, for me, is the way he takes the ball out. He takes the ball out and he maybe commits a forward to follow him, or he commits a midfielder to come out of their shape. Now, there wasn't an awful lot of shape to Manchester United at the weekend, but I've seen little things from Konaté as well where, as the first half in particular progressed, he was basically going, there's space here, I'm going into it. And he was going in and popping balls into the forwards, or just even just bringing it 15 yards and then getting it to Trent, which was getting Trent 15 yards up the pitch, or committing another player that meant two of them couldn't close Trent. It was 1-on-1 and he could pick his pass. I just thought he was unbelievable. And when you see the size of him, how quick he is, strong, good in the air, good passer, not afraid of nobody. Like, for him to run into that, plays great, but the biggest thing for me is when that happens, he goes straight in, he goes for Ronaldo, then he has a bit of Bruno Fernandes, then Fred comes over, he has a bit of him as well. And I said it on Sunday, I think if Virgil van Dijk had looked him the wrong way, he would have given Virgil a slap as well, as if to say, you stand there.
You see the size of him though, Gav. He is bigger than Virgil. The guy is massive. I think if anybody was that built, I think you'd be quite fancy yourself in any fight, to be fair.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to be scared of anybody.
But it's the confidence in him. It's a self-confidence to go in there, because, like, we've all seen high-profile-ish players, in big games, and they shy away from that. This is his first away game for Liverpool. He plays at home at Palace. But this is his first game, and he just goes in as if to say, like, Virgil's in, I'm in as well then. Robbo's in, I'm in. And they were all in. And you're right, what you say, Chris, mentally, that they weren't standing around. And we've said it loads of time on this show, and you'll hear it on other Liverpool podcasts, or maybe from pundits and stuff. Liverpool can be a bit nice at times. Not falling down in a mental state, or not mentally weak, but sometimes it can be a bit nice and a bit, is that a free ref, or is that a yellow ref? But you could see on Sunday they were like all over the ref for everything, absolutely everything, and I loved it. But I thought it was brilliant, and I thought we should give Konaté a little chat tonight. He got a bit of a chat on Sunday night, but I thought it'd be fair to just single him out and just have a look exactly how he was, and he was brilliant. And Conroy, the next player I want to come on to is Naby Keïta. Now, he splits opinion massively amongst the Liverpool fan base. I don't think talent-wise. I think it's availability and maybe it's consistency, and is he strong enough? Is he strong enough physically to keep up with what Liverpool are looking to do? And we've seen signs over the last little while that maybe he is. He's built up. He's gone away on international duty, played some games, come back, fine, all good. But Conroy, I don't know if you agree, but I think that might be a breakout moment for Naby Keïta on Sunday. And I know we're talking 3.5 years later from when he joins. It could be more than that, but I think that's a breakout moment and a breakout game for Naby Keïta on Sunday because of the way he defends, the way he passes, the way he moves the ball, supports the front men, gets assists, scores. It had everything for him, didn't it?
Yeah, I think the thing is with Naby, there's a few times this season I've kind of quietly said this is the breakout moment. And I think I'm going to put my head on the chopping block again. And I do think it's a statement. And to be honest, for me, it's more of the movement from Keita. I know you're just going to bring this up now, that's his pass, Matt. But I actually think if we correlate and relate this to at the start of the season, we're all going on about Harvey Elliott and how he was linking in with Salah and bringing a new dynamic to the midfield. Well, I've got to be honest, I know it wasn't inverted, but I think even Keita's movement on that number 8 side against United, they didn't know what to do. If it's from his goal with the run with Salah or even the second goal, there's numerous times he was breaking forward from the midfield run. I think even the second goal, that I don't know what Sean Maguire doing, but Keita's basically the edge of the D, winning that ball. His movement was outstanding, and I feel like that's, just to add, that's obviously Klopp's management skills. The genius of him has seen a weakness there and went to that. But on the whole, I think you talk about the attacking side, Gav, you talk about if you weren't sure about him defensively, but Chris alluded to him and Henderson, Kev did on the Match of the Day analysis, but even the 5th goal, that comes from Naby intercepting, if I'm correct, and then Henderson gets the ball and plays the ball through. I think Keita is, you don't have to be built like a brick shithouse to be, you just have to be intelligent and know when to do it. And I think in the past, Keita's maybe been too eager to be the only one who's pressing and not, do it the way the team are moving at the same time. But for me, I'm going to say it quietly, Gav, I think this could be, because for me, it doesn't have to be a dynamic, amazing midfielder. It just has to be 6, 7 out of 10 every week, can do the job asked of him. And then I think as he grows in that role, you'll get more performances like you've seen on Sunday. The confidence. Now, you will have bigger tests in the sense of there won't be...
Preston.
No, yeah, well, maybe Brighton will be a harder game in the sense as they might be a bit more defensive resolute against you. But however, it's still a massive stage and he turned up. And I actually feel like, I think he will now. I'm looking forward to see how he progresses now. Because as I say, if you look at the stats, if you want to talk about stats this season, Naby, that's 3 goals now, 1 assist. I think there's a few goal involvements at the weekend as well and in previous games. You've got the volley against Palace, the volley against Atletico Madrid, which they two being off the back of each other, I don't know why no one's talking about. That's like 2 of the best volleys ever in anyone's career on the back from a left foot and a right foot. And then obviously a goal at Old Trafford that's been quite scarce for us in the past. So I agree, Gav. I think this could be a breakout moment. I'm actually very intrigued to see how he carries on from this.
So am I, because and I think I still think the key to it for me is how involved he is, and by that I mean no niggly injuries, no issues. Now, don't get me wrong, he has to come off on Sunday because of a horrendous tackle. That could have been a lot worse than it actually ends up being. News on that today is that he's okay, and also Thiago's back in training. So that's really good news with regards to those two, because we were literally down to 3 midfielders at the end of that game. But even that news, it's probably a heavy bruising maybe. Thank God for the shin pad being there. But even that news, 6 months ago you would have said he's gone. He's gone for 6 weeks, and it doesn't matter if it's a bruise. He's gone, because I think mentally in his own head he just couldn't. I think he just couldn't get himself. If he wasn't 100%, he couldn't get himself on the pitch. And you see that with a lot of players. There's very few Premier League players out there that are 100% fit in any game they play in. But there's some out there that will just play when they're 90, 80% fit. And there's some that just won't. They want to be as close to 100 as they can. But even that news today that, Naby, it seems okay, should be okay for the weekend. That's brilliant. That's even different to what we've heard about Naby Keïta for the last little while. And you'll get people saying, well, his availability, he's
only missed one game this year.
He's played what?
He's only missed one game this year, isn't he?
Yeah, he has only missed one game. But in previous times, like he might have been available, and the comparison then is usually about him and Henderson. Henderson's played 50% more games than Naby Keïta since he's arrived at the club. And people would say, well, he was available. Well, if he was available, he didn't play. And the reason he didn't play is probably because he wasn't trusted. But now I see the trust coming. And I think it's a two-way street. I think Naby Keïta is trusting himself. And I think Klopp is starting to trust Naby Keïta. And I think it's brilliant. So I was just delighted with that. You never walk alone. 96 says this, and Kev, I'll come to you. He says being really impressed with Naby. Just thinks he needs to work on being more press resistant. And I think that's coming from. And I remember this in the first half, Kev. He gets robbed of it. He gets robbed of it in the first half, where he just doesn't look when he's connecting the ball. He looks at what's coming. United rob him and go on the break, and that's the only thing I can think of. Small little things like that, Kev, just keeping an eye around him and knowing where his own players are to find them at times.
Yeah.
And he's absolutely fine, isn't he?
But that'll come with minutes. And look, for me, Naby going forward, no, I've got no problems with him whatsoever. The issues around him were exposed with Atletico Madrid because, look, they were glaring. And he was partly at fault for both goals. And it was naivety in both of them. That's all it was, is just naivety. Allowing Lamar to cut in on his strong foot from a corner. Should he have been isolated one-on-one? Probably not. And at the same time, tracking a runner. It's simple little things, but they'll come with time and minutes on the pitch.
It's when he's turned, isn't it, Kev?
Yeah, exactly.
That's probably the one. Yeah, that's probably the one little area where, to be fair,
Right.
United didn't expose anything like that because they didn't allow him to. But that's probably what got him at Madrid, is they were quite good at making him turn. I think he's much better. He's not good running back to goal, but that's a development area.
Yeah, look, a lot of people are underestimating that result at Atletico because of the state of the Spanish league. I'm telling you now, they're Spanish champions and they'll win the league again. They're a nightmare to play against. They're very good players, and they're well drilled as well, unlike United. And Naby had a couple of issues in the game, but no disaster. He was culpable, but there's plenty of blame to go around in that side for that game. Against United, it was night and day, the difference. He had a freedom. He was expressing himself. He was bursting his gut to get up there for his first goal. And the way he took it, the composure in which he took it, it was like, I'd say that was about 2 inches away from De Gea's foot.
He looked.
It was so close, but it was just the way he took it, side foot. There you go.
I think the way he takes it, I think De Gea thinks he's going across him, and he just opens his body out, and De Gea can't shift his body weight.
He can't get his body weight across.
De Gea is actually not bad in the position he's in.
No.
He's making. He should be out a bit further for me, but that's De Gea. He doesn't come off his line in one-on-ones. He likes to hold his ground. But I just think it's the body weight. De Gea can't get his body weight shifted when Naby Keïta opens his body. But that's the thing. I think it's the trust. It comes back to the trust. Even that goal for me, because
it's always been the way with Klopp, hasn't it?
Because when he finds,
it's the same with Ox.
Exactly. But when he finds a trust in you, what happens is he trusts you to. He knows where he's going to expose United, and he has to pick the player he trusts most to become part of that exposure. And he picks Naby Keïta because if you watch that goal, right, Naby Keïta may have went and stood in midfield looking for a second ball off Firmino. Naby Keïta might have not went looking for anything. He might have held his position. Naby Keïta may have literally been standing 10 feet deep of Jota saying, "Can I have the ball?" Because that's what Naby Keïta was expected. He gets it deep and he runs when he moves with it. Whereas that there was, I think it was Jota into Firmino onto Salah, and Keita's gone. He's not standing around looking to be a playmaker. He's bursting through the middle of the park and nobody's near him. And that's where you need to pick the right player to trust, because he could have went with Ox. Will Ox do that? Possibly, yeah. Ox would have more of an inkling for me to go for that. Do you know what I'm saying?
But I think Naby's better going the other way. And I think Klopp actually trusts him a lot more going the other way.
But that's where it is. I think he's starting to trust him. I think he's starting to trust him in all aspects of the game. But look, it was brilliant from start to finish.
Can I just add something, Gav, before we move on, mate? Can I just add this one part that I do think is going under the radar? Playing Diogo Jota again after he scored at Anfield, playing the same front three he played at Anfield at Old Trafford last year, is kind of not getting mentioned. Chris was talking about the countdown to kickoff show, and I seen the lineup, and I was buzzing with that front three, to be honest, because Diogo is showing. Well, but he's showing consistently why he's not a number 9, but he does sniff things out more. Probably one up. Obviously, Salah's a bit immortal right now, but when it comes to that kind of strikerish movement and the way he kind of he drops to allow other people in. I think Jota is superb, and I'd said this in a few other videos before on the channel, but for me, it's not the front three anymore, it's the front four.
It's three
and
of four.
And Jota has made a massive difference, because I also think Firmino can play with freedom now, because it's not like, oh, I need to get this many goals, I need to be. I feel like the four Jota's signing is actually, now you're seeing it with not the lack injuries we had last year, it's a massive improvement. And I just see that goal. See when you've got someone like Trent as well who can find that pass. I love a goal like that.
Yeah.
That, to me, that's football, because simplify the game. Do something you're great at. He knows when Trent gets there, he's going to find me there. Absolutely. You look at the highlights of a tapping. That's my favourite goal. I just wanted to shout out to Jota, because again, I think he's just been an absolute bargain of a signing, and I do think his movement goes under the radar, especially not from you lot, but in some of the analysis. I just think Jota, another great effective performance.
But Jota does what he's there to do. He's in the box to score goals, and in fairness to him, he's very creative off that left. The Mane thing, I think Mane doesn't start because of Klopp's comments with regards to playing a lot of players that had played a lot of international football, and he felt a bit, he made a kind of wrong decision there. He says that after the Atletico game, and the Matip thing doesn't stand on that. That's clearly a pace thing for me and Konaté.
Yeah.
But when you look at, I think the Mane thing is, because you have to remember, Mane goes away with Senegal, and he's literally their main man, and everything is piled on top of him. And I think he might play it twice, 3 times maybe in the international break.
He did 3.
So he makes that change. But the double-edged sword with Jota is, although I like Jota through the middle more, the way Wan-Bissaka can be exposed by a predatory striker on that back post, that's why Jota's there. And if you watch it,
clever movement as well, guy.
Yeah, but
always clever.
But
right?
if you watch Manchester United and you listen to Manchester United fans, they will tell you that Wan-Bissaka is an athlete. He's not great at going forward. He's quite good at defending. He's good at tackling. But his positional sense in the box is horrific.
Yeah,
and if you get
£50 million.
Yeah, but if you get somebody to expose him, if you get someone to expose him with someone that's a real goal-getter, and I'm not saying Mane isn't, because a lot of Mane's goals come from that area of the box, but Jota is like, I'm in there, and
he's a fox in the box, Shaw. He's just, but
look where does Wan-Bissaka when Jota scores? This is what
I don't know, mate. Maybe up the park, Gav.
For me, the difference between the two is Sadio wants to run at you, cut in and get a shot off. Jota doesn't care. He wants
just
to
kill you with movement.
Yeah, he wants to arrive.
Yeah,
and
kill you with movement. That's clip that up.
It is horses for courses. Jota just wants to get there.
That's brilliant.
And he does.
I just want to answer this. Lucky Luciano says Gav has Grizz left. No. Why do you think Grizz is left? No, Grizz is a very busy man. He's trying to get his own channel off the ground, and he's doing quite well at it. So he is here on Thursdays. He's here I think we're doing every second Sunday. He's just doing his own thing, and he can't be. He's only one person. He can't be in 2 and 3 places at one time. So no, Grizz hasn't left the channel. He's just concentrating on other stuff, which he's every right to do. So no, there's no issue there. I just thought I'd ask that because a couple of people have asked, and I was like, what? But no, Grizz hasn't left. Let me see. Let me see. Alejandro disagrees with me, so I'm definitely throwing this up on the screen. I like this. He says, Alejandro, mate, says, Gav, I disagree on that. I feel like Mane staying out was part of the game plan. He wanted Jota, Firmino, and Keita to literally walk through their defence. But this is what I'm saying. I don't know what part you disagree with. Jota will kill you with movement, and that's where I think Wan-Bissaka fares better against Mane if he's in a one-on-one battle where it's pace and he's trying to get around you. I think he struggles badly when you have a player that goes, I'm not fucking arsed about your pace, but I'm going to drift off the back of you and get in front of you. And that's what Jota does more than Mane. That's where I felt Jota would work. And just look at the goal he scores where Wan-Bissaka is. Jota is Wan-Bissaka's man, regardless, and he's not in the same postcode as him. When he scores, not from my recollection anyway. And even if he is, he still hasn't.
Milner's closer to him. Milner's marking Jota for that goal.
Yeah, Milner's literally like fucking Peepo and Zaggy at the back post. Super chat here from Meme Cray 8. He says Pinaldo walking straight off a full time, not acknowledging the crowd was petulant. I see some Manc fans defending him for doing that absolute joke of a club. We'll get on to Manchester United later.
Oh, yeah.
But Liverpool were absolutely unbelievable at cutting off service to the likes of Rashford, Greenwood, Ronaldo, Fernandes. They just listen, it was just mad.
It was a masterclass.
Yeah.
It was an absolute masterclass on how to take apart a bad side.
I
And
do
expose our flaws. And that's all that we did. We didn't have to be special. We weren't. We weren't that good.
No, we just knew what we were doing,
good
and
enough.
we carried it out. Red Steve says, you reckon Gav could kill you with movement on the dance floor? No, mate, I'm at the bar. Fuck that. Unless, come on, Eileen comes on near the end of the night, then all bets are off.
Look out for him in Smoky Mo's in Liverpool.
It was a masterclass, and you know, I think Liverpool didn't get enough credit from the media and certain platforms. Following the game, I can understand it on the day, but the analysis in the next couple of days should have gotten more into what we actually did and how we did it. Because I guarantee you, the Spurs analyst team are looking at what we did and how we did it, and if they're not, we'll get to those later. But they can't do what we do. Spurs.
They've got a traffic cone up front. It's a bit difficult, really.
But it's not even that. Spurs aren't a passing side. I'm not a passing and moving side for me. They're a bang, 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 try to get it through the side, where Liverpool have probably one or two power passes in them, but we'll see how they go. I kind of want United to get something at Spurs. I want them to get something off City and they give them another contract or something like that, something fucking mad. Which
just not bad.
Let me see.
Imagine he gets an extension.
Now, Veranda Cheese is telling lies here, so I'm going to bring it up, and I know him personally, and I can tell you he's lying, because he says, I told you on Friday we'd smashed in Gav, and you said I was on the cans. Incorrect, Veranda Cheese. Because I told them on Wednesday we were going. My words. This time last week when I got myself in trouble, I think about 30 seconds into this show last week, I said, by the way, we're turning up to Old Trafford on Sunday and we are upending Manchester United. And I think I might have went for 5 or 6-1, but I can't remember. It was a high score. What you actually said last Wednesday was that Harry Maguire will be sent off in the 8th minute and we will go on to record a record result, a bit like Manchester United against Southampton at Old Trafford last season, which clearly didn't happen, and now you're making these words up this week. So I just thought I'd pull you up on that Veranda Cheese. But thanks for watching, and I enjoyed the call. Right, that's the end of him for 10 minutes or so, because he'd be texting me now in a minute going, you are a prick, which is fair enough, which is also a true story. So lads, look, we've talked Klopp, we talked how good we were, we talked how good the midfield were, the forwards were. I just want to get on to Preston, because, you know, Preston, I don't know what bodies we have. I'm trying to work it out. Like, somebody asked me there, would you start Mane away at Preston? And I think it's going to be.
About it.
I want to kind of see what our approach would be, and I want us to try pick a team between us if possible. So, Chris, I'm going to come to you first. What should the approach be to this? Should it be one of go strong, don't go strong at all, somewhere in the middle, and
I think similar to the Norwich 11.
Okay,
that we played.
So you think that's enough? That's serious enough to go and, you know, get through this and into a quarterfinal? I think it'd be, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's quarterfinals next.
You'd like to think so, because look, as bad as Norwich are, you know, Norwich did win the league that Preston were in last year, so you would think that should be enough. You might just have if anything, a little bit more experience on the bench as a break glass. It goes wrong, but I would go. Well, we all know Adrian's playing because Alisson will get a rest and Kelleher's ill. So Adrian's a done deal. I assume back forward he'd go Nico, Gomez, Tsimikas, and then I think it's a toss-up between Phillips and Konaté. If Konaté's not playing the weekend, you may as well play him against Preston.
Yep.
So you're going Nico Williams right back?
Yeah. Tsimikas left. Gomez.
Left. Yeah.
Gomez, and then either Konaté or Phillips. If Konaté's not playing the weekend, then you may as well play him against Preston. I
think you might play Phillips in this game.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I don't. I think he'll go with Konaté. I honestly think he'll want to get minutes. And look, Nat signed his deal when he knew the score. So I don't know whether he signed the deal to up his transfer value or what's the story. I have no idea. But I can't see any other way that he doesn't play Konaté and Joe Gomez as a centre-back pairing. I mean,
any shout from Matip? Any shout from Matip?
None whatsoever.
No,
he's still in cotton wool wrapped in the bubble wrap in the safety glass box. He's grand. Leave him alone.
Yeah, And then I think midfield-wise, you probably go
Well,
Chamberlain.
you know what? Don't touch midfield for a minute, because I think that's the hardest bit to do. But Chris, just looking at up front, Origi, Minamino, Gordon.
Gordon's out.
Okay, Gordon's out.
Gordon's out. Yeah, he's only just back from an injury. That's why I wouldn't be surprised if Sadio does start and maybe plays an hour.
Okay, no worries.
Mane, Minamino, and Origi. I think.
Yeah.
That's a pity. I was looking forward to seeing Gordon again.
So was I.
I did hear something that he's been out for the last couple of weeks.
He's not long back to training. Yeah, he's not long back to training.
Okay. And Chris, where are you going for midfield? What do you think?
Chamberlain, Morton, Jones.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to ask a question of this, and you've gone with Chamberlain, Morton, Jones, all right? Kev, we're short numbers in midfield. Should he go with a second youngster in midfield and only risk, or is the fact that Keita being okay and Thiago due back as well and back in training, does that kind of soften the blow and gives you a little bit more options and you can take a little bit more of a risk in midfield tomorrow?
I think there's two things in this. I think Fabinho will be all right for the weekend, and Henderson will be there for the weekend, and hopefully Naby, if not Curtis. But the beauty of the League Cup is you've got 5 subs.
Yeah.
So you can go and win it in an hour and then make your changes as and when. But I want to win it. Do you know what I mean? I want to keep. But
this gets you into a quarter final, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
It's 90 minutes. There's no replays. There's no extra time. You have 5 subs. Morton has done more than enough in the bits that I've seen him in. I like him a lot. And from what I've looked up with Preston, I haven't watched them. I know a few of the Irish lads are playing for him. And what's his face? The kid who's on loan.
Van der Berg. He's
Van der Berg has got permission to play.
Yeah, he has permission to play, yeah.
Yeah, and he's been playing as a right wing back for them.
Yeah, correct.
They'll line up virtually every game for the last season and a bit in a back 5, back 3, 3-4-1-2 or 3-5-2, whichever way you want to look at it. So we'll have most of the ball. And Scott Sinclair will play up front, bit of pace, bit of guile. Number 3. I think Scott Sinclair's he's done the rounds. He's been around at a load of clubs, but he's experienced and he's nippy, So, but he's really their only threat. Alan Brown is
Jacobson, or is it Jacobson, scored in every round so far as well. So he's actually been quite good in the cup for them. So I think he'll be in the team as well.
Yeah, and I mean I think Alan Brown got sent off at the weekend, so I don't know if he's available for the League Cup or not. So if he is, he'll play in midfield. He's got a good pass in him. He can pick out players. But if a side is going to line up with a back 5 against us, you're going to have the ball. Morton is going to dictate the play. It's a night you can go and Deepdale will be full. It'll be a full packed house, and any championship side, anytime I've gone to watch championship sides when I was living over there against Premier League sides, they fancy it. They know all players are in the shop window. And I've seen players get moves on the back of... I remember Bristol City beat Man United in the League Cup. And the kiddie who's...
Was that Joe Bryan, the left back?
Joe Bryan got a move off the back of it. And there was a striker who ended up at Fulham.
The centre back as well that we signed, I believe.
Yeah, Decatur Reed, and Brownhill got a move to
Burnley
on the back of it. Yeah. So these lads are going to be eyeing up their futures as well. So, and they know it's a worldwide audience when Liverpool are in town. So it's not just you're playing for the UK audience; you're playing for moves God knows where. So they're going to be up for it. So if we still have this hangover from the weekend and haven't been able to box that off and move on, or go there with the wrong mentality and expect Preston to just roll over, it ain't going to happen. These guys can play, and if you let them play, they can play it.
It's there's a couple of shouts in here, and Conroy, I'll come to you. Like Musialowski, looks an absolutely phenomenal talent at under whatever age he is. He's been playing the 23s or the 18s, wherever he's playing in. I don't. It doesn't register with me what team he's playing. I just see him scoring and doing mad stuff, and I go, he looks deadly. But you see him, you see Paul Glatzel, who was on loan, I think, and was brought back. He's a striker, and I've always liked him, and I've seen him. You've got what's the guy's name in midfield? There's two of them in midfield. Balagizi, but the other guy, Dixon Bonner, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. They've been kind of in and around the first team squad with regards to training and stuff like that. But Conroy, do you think they'll look to any of those, or a bit of a wild card on the bench that they might get a run out? Because I like the League Cup more than the FA Cup. I think I agree with Kev, we should be looking to win this, get to a quarter final, and then assess things, because as you said, this competition's over come February. But at the same time, you still have to look at it as a chance to blood these youngsters when you get a chance. Could you see a load of these on the bench as opposed to first team players that are just there in case anything goes wrong?
Yeah, I could see there a balance, a few in the bench. I mean, you say Musielowski, probably Gordon being out, if he wasn't injured or coming back from that, he'd be a cert to start after starting against Norwich. Yeah. So you could see one of those wild cards happening, especially if you're talking about Manny possibly playing or not playing on that side. You can maybe afford to gamble that wild card, and if it doesn't work, as Kev said, you've got the 5 subs there, you can make the change. I think it'll be a balance. I think some people will be rested, and then you maybe just have a few more experienced players in the bench just in case. Because I agree with Kev. I think we're maybe. I expect us to win. Don't get me wrong, but you know what it's like. The crowd's back, the momentum. If they can get a little bit, just a bit of inch in this game or a chance, just get the crowd going. It might not be plain sailing. So on that, I feel like just have a few experienced players on the bench just in case. Because I don't know about you, I'm with Gav. I completely want to win. I've always wanted to win this tournament. I don't know why people look down on it. I think it's like a chance to get to Wembley, win a trophy, and as you say, win tomorrow, you're through the quarterfinals. Like, I'm not comparing, but if you watch Tuchel last night, tonight watching the penalty shootout, he's desperate to get through, because I do think
he needs it.
Not only does he need it,
well, he's just won a Champions League, to be fair, Chris.
Yeah, but
to be fair, Chelsea are still.
But that's where the Champions League is relevant to this competition, because if you're struggling in your Champions League group, you're definitely throwing a bleeding League Cup game somewhere, to rest players because you're playing the weekend and you're playing the Champions League game. You're definitely throwing it and saying, good luck. Liverpool are 9 from 9 in the Champions League group. They don't need to be resting anyone anywhere. And I know people would say, well, we're not playing for such and such amount of time. I know that. But when you get to the quarter final, it'll definitely be in a week where you had a Champions League, a league game, then you might have a League Cup game, a big league game, and then back to Champions League. If one of those is going to be the victim of it all, it's definitely going to be the League Cup game if you're struggling in your Champions League group. The fact that Liverpool should go through after their next game is huge, I think, for the League Cup campaign, because it means then that you can turn around and say, we're through in that. We boxed that off. Let's box this and see how far we can go. And we might have to make a decision further down the line with regards to a quarter final, or I think the semis is probably in January, is it?
January, yeah. But that's the only worry I'd have is the extra. I think it's still over 2 legs.
Yeah, no, it would be, but the thing is, I think the quarters might be before Christmas.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, they come around quick this year.
Yeah, so usually our Champions League ends around the middle of December, so you should have that boxed off, so you can actually prioritise the League Cup, if you know what I'm saying, and then look at it come the middle of January when the semi final is on. So it's one of those. I think the where you are in your Champions League group, I think, has a big bearing on the League Cup and the FA Cup. Kind of, it depends where you are in those knockout games, but the League Cup, I think, Chelsea want to get through there tonight. They're okay in their Champions League group. If Chelsea were really struggling, if they were really struggling, they'd be going,
strong enough as well tonight.
Yeah, they did go strong enough. But look, let me get predictions obvious. We've had a look at the team. I think we're fairly close to each other on what the team might be, and let's see who's on the bench and stuff like that, and hopefully we can get through, because I'd love to see us get through and continue to push in this competition. I'd rather win it than the FA Cup. Chris, score prediction, please.
3-1, Origi double and Minamino.
Okay. Kev?
Yeah, 3-0. Nice, clean sheet. Look, they shouldn't be troubling us. If we start that back 4, we should be fine.
Okay. Conroy?
I'm going for 3-0. Ox to score, and Origi and Minamino.
Okay. I'll have 4-1. I'll take 4-1. I think we're going to continue scoring loads of goals, and I'm all for that. So it's all good.
I'd love Adrian to get a clean sheet as well. The guy gets absolute buckets.
Well, he's getting hammered on. He's getting hammered on social media today because there's a chance he'll play tomorrow. Which
people
is
want to cop themselves
woeful.
on like
It's absolutely woeful. But anyway, that's all the good stuff out. The good stuff out of the way with regards to Liverpool, United, Klopp, the midfield, the forwards, Preston.
Oh no, we're not done with United, Gav. You're definitely
we're
not done with United.
but that's the good stuff. Here's the more even better stuff now because we are on to winners and losers. As I said, we have got some crackers this week. I'm trying to find where me there they are. I have my sound effects, so I will cut people off if I need to at any stage. So we're gonna do one by one winners and losers. So Chris, I'm gonna come to you first. You're going to give us your winner, and then you're going to give us your loser of the week. So, walk away, Chris, your winner of the week.
Mine's West Ham. Beat Tottenham again. They're up to 4th now. And I'll be honest, West Ham probably a few years ago, bit of a banter club, you didn't know where they were going. But you've got to be honest, their recruitment is what United should be. It's recruitment with a plan. They've got so many good players. They're well organised. It shows what you can do with a bit of time and all that. They've got some really good players. Zuma and Ogbonna are a cracking centre-back partnership. Really dominant in the air, not bad on the ball. I do like Fornells as well. And Declan Rice, who I've not always been the biggest fan of, is really stepped up a level. And as long as they keep Antonio fit, they're a real threat up front. So I actually think when we play them in 2 weeks' time, that's going to be a tougher game than going to Old Trafford.
Just on the screen there from West Ham United, it's a quote from Declan Rice. He says, "We've completely transformed the way we are as players, as people. That's down to the manager. It's down to the players buying into what he wants, and every time we go out there, even if we're beaten, we come off the pitch knowing we've given everything." That's a huge thing, I think, for West Ham, because West Ham for me look like if gone back a year, 18 months ago, you got a goal against West Ham, what they were doing. They lived off the adrenaline of being in a game, and then when you've scored one against them, they weren't in the game anymore. But it's an interesting one, West Ham, and I think it's to compare them to United is probably not right in the size of the club, but the way they're doing things and the way you're right, the way they recruit people, the way they bring them in, they buy into what they're doing. They seem a very solid unit. You don't seem to hear an awful lot out of them. Whether it's good, bad or indifferent, they seem to stick amongst themselves.
Even look at like the Czech signings, Gav. Like they've got Kral now, the Kufal, Souček, even Creswell's kind of developed. Creswell got 8 assists last year. That kind of went under the radar as well. I feel like Moyes has done a really good job. You got to be fair to him. He
gets absolutely bantered around the place, Moyes. But the thing is, if you find him the right level of club and give him the right amount of responsibility, i.e., not too much money to spend, I think he's really.
But give him the responsibility, give him the reins, and I think he's showed what he could do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's done really well.
Because the way you can say, if you look at the right back at the moment, Ben Johnson, who's fiddling for Kufal, who's been outstanding for West Ham.
Yeah, he was good. He was good on Sunday. The
best you can say about Ben Johnson is you forget Kufal's injured.
Yeah,
which is saying something. So again, it's another person coming in who knows his job, which is down to. As much as I'm taking Mikel, that's down to good coaching and a good structure. So, look, I think West Ham have just been really good, and actually, I think they've coped very well with the European league swap because we do know that Thursday Sunday can be a bit of an issue. I mean, we're seeing Tottenham struggle with that, but I do think they've coped with that very well as well.
Yeah. And
do you think they can make top 4? Sorry, Gav. Do you think they make top 4, Chris?
No, I don't.
I don't think the squad's quite deep enough. I do think they should be looking to get Europa League again.
Yeah. 100%. I think so. Thor says, funny how West Ham being decent in goals, Sullivan and Brady have, I presume he means have been quiet. They didn't quit the club, did they?
No, they've just been very, very backseat.
Yeah, they've shut the fuck up, is what you're trying to tell me. Yeah. Okay.
I think West Ham might struggle in the second half of the season. They depend on too many key players for too much, and I think they'll struggle in the second half of the season. A bit like what Leicester do. They'll give you hope, and I mean, you look at when they moved from Upton Park into the new stadium, and all you heard was bitching and moaning out of the West Ham fans that it's not the same. It's just that. Look at them now. The best thing that could have happened to Moyes was the fact that there was no fans in the ground.
Yeah,
he got time to settle the players in.
And fans got time to fans got time to appreciate.
Got used to it.
Yeah, they got time to appreciate that all right, it's not the bowling or whatever they call the other place.
Yeah.
But it's a football ground that we can go into. and I think that
Exactly.
that's made them appreciate that. No, that's a good winner. I like them. Before I get on to your loser, Chris, I just want to mention something here because before I go mad if I forget it. So Jason Surendran says R.I.P. Walter Smith, the former Rangers and Everton manager, passed away I think today, after an illness, and some people be surprised that I'll turn around and say R.I.P. Walter Smith because I'm an Irishman and he's a massive hero at Rangers and I'm a Liverpool fan and he was a good manager, decent manager at Everton. But I was delighted to see all the messages from Everton, Liverpool, Rangers, Celtic, Motherwell, all of Scotland today about this man, because the one thing that comes up, I don't know a lot about Walter Smith, other than he's a football manager, but the overriding thing to come out of today was how nice he was, how much of a gentleman he was, how respectful he was to whoever he was talking to or whoever he was interacting with. And when you have Celtic fans coming out saying the man was an absolute gentleman after he literally caused them misery for most of the years he was at Rangers Football Club, I think that's an absolute testament to the man. Conroy, I'll give you the word on this because being Scottish you'll know a lot more about Walter Smith than I would, so I'll open the floor to you.
Yeah, no, just kind of reinforcing what you're saying, Gav. And I know Alan McCoy's, fair play to the guy. I think you've got to remember Alan McCoy was a player, then assistant coach. So it's like they became a father figure, then became great friends. And he was on TalkSport earlier and just basically summed them up. And I would say, with the reaction on social media, sometimes it's a toxic place, but you've seen the messages from, like, especially in Scotland, you talk about Celtic and Rangers fans, but there's been a lot of... from both sides, it's been a very, very sad day, to be honest, because just to add, Walter Smith was Scotland manager. We actually went up in his tenure, went 70 places up in the rankings. One of our famous wins against France at Hampden, as far as I'm aware, it was the Hampden one. We won 1-0. So he's just like for the nation, he's just a football great. But I think as a man as well, you can just tell that with the reaction of everybody, a great man, and it's a very, very, very sad day. It's a very, very sad day, and I really feel that it's just been very eerie constantly today, and just even hearing you talk about it there, Gav, it's just just hope you can rest in peace now. And I know he's came out today, he's been ill for quite a bit of time. I know Souness was up at the weekend to see him there, and a few other Scottish people or football friends went to see him. So just, unbelievable person, an unbelievable manager, and what he done, I know on the Scottish side of things, I'm not going to make it all about football, but it's like he achieved some amazing things. Twice Rangers manager, so went away for ages, and a lot older he came back, and then he won 3 championships in a row. I think he won 10 titles and 21 overall as a manager. I mean, that's crazy numbers, and there's a really good image if you go on Twitter, I think, I don't know if you know who Tommy Burns was. Yep. So when they were the Alan McCoy, Tommy Burns and Walter Smith were the 2 coaches and the manager at Scotland's national team. Now that's a massive Celtic man and 2 massive Rangers. But do you know what? It's like it kind of brought that curiosity with the nation. And then there's a really picture which you've got when Tommy Burns sadly passed away. You've got Walter Smith and Alan McCoy carrying the coffin out, and I feel like I've seen that about a few times on Twitter today, and it's just shows the connection they 3 had, and it's just a really, really sad day. But thanks for that, Gav, because it's obviously a very, very special and great man, for a Scottish legend. So it's really, thanks for mentioning that. Cheers.
There's no problem at all, because like he is a massive figure in football in the UK, regardless of what way you look at it, and regardless of who you support. And when something like this happens, who you support or I suppose even your religious allegiance shouldn't come into it, because and people might think that's a bit strange saying that, but that's what a lot of things can come down to in football, your religious allegiance, who you support, where you're from and stuff like that. But I was not delighted, that's the wrong word to use, a man has passed away, but I was really happy to see the outpouring of emotion and the outpouring of respect and love for Walter Smith today, and especially where it was coming from, because I think it shows that regardless of what happens on a Saturday or a Sunday at a game of football, they're all human beings at the end of the day. They're all just out there making a living, and as much as you might be tribalistic about, Team A or Team B. These guys play each other and then they know each other from one end of the week to the other. A little bit like you're talking there about Tommy Burns and Walter Smith, Ali McCoist and stuff like that. So it's just one of those, and I didn't want to let it pass. Today pass without saying something about it. But moving away from this, and back to you, Chris. We have your loser of the week. Who is your loser of the week?
Oh, it's Rafa's Army, the mighty Everton.
Okay, I'm liking this. You see, we're building this up, aren't we? This is
do you know
getting
what I mean?
good.
Yes, do you know what I mean? So I went out with my family and I seen Everton 2-1 up. I thought, oh well, 15 minutes to go, sound. Came back, my mate texted me because I had no reception. It said, fancy blowing a lead like that. So I thought, oh, they must have drew. And I saw they conceded 4 goals in 12 minutes, including a hat trick to a lad who they basically decided wasn't good enough for him and didn't play him in Josh King. And I absolutely loved his post match where he just basically went, I had a point to prove, and he gave it the big one. But It was just the most Everton result I've ever seen. And they're basically the opposite of West Ham. They're paying the price for shocking recruitment over the last few years. They've had plenty of money with Mashiri, and they've spent it badly, and they've recruited badly, and they're now reaping what they sow, really. And sure, it's quite glorious to see, really. So I've quite enjoyed it.
Well, Dan Austin from the Anfield Rap had this tweet up at the weekend, and I fucking loved it. He said, Josh King taking 6 months' wages off the Blues for a total of 0 goals in 11 matches before turning back up at Goodison with his new club and bagging 3 in a late comeback win. Every time you think you've seen peak Everton Football Club, they prove you wrong. God bless them. So that was an absolute belter from the weekend, and Everton had to be up there. We couldn't let that pass because I laughed my head off on Saturday. Look, I remember literally being in the house on Saturday, right, and I think Everton went 1-0 up very early on. Watford equalised, I thought, and then Richarlison, I think, makes it 2-1 on 64 minutes, and I thought to myself, right, that's that done. That they'll push on now. And I genuinely did look. And I came back and went, what? What the fuck is going on here? 5-2. And I was like, I have to go and look. And on the app on the phone, like, you get all the thing. But then about 15 minutes at the end of the game, it comes up, official highlights available. And I was tapping on the Everton one as quick as I could to see what went on, But, it's not even that. I'm just waiting for this Rafa stuff to bubble.
It's gonna blow, isn't it?
It's
absolutely gonna blow.
My Blues mates have already had it off now.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the bubble because there's a couple of things there that they're FFP. They're all over the shop. 95% of their income is being covered by wages. Rafa Benitez is there. They're starting to stutter slightly, and it's going. Do you know something? I could see us bashing them in the derby. And I don't know if we're home or away to them first this season. I'll have to go and check. I hope it's away. And I could see us going there and bashing them, and then literally run for cover when that happens, because it's all going to go absolutely insane. But Benitez looks like he's aged about 15 years as well. Have you noticed that since he took over there? He looks he's starting to look like he's starting to look like they've put the sepia filter on him when he's doing the interviews. So
it's all set up. It's away, and because of the TV, they've moved it now, so it's now on the 1st of December.
Right.
Derby games in December don't go quite well for us.
Yeah, good stuff. Let me see. Red Steve is getting abusive. He's getting aggressive, and it's not towards us for once, not towards me for once, which is absolutely cracking. But he does say the losers of the week are the 270 people watching who haven't hit the like button. You know who you are. He's calling you out there, lads. Jesus, I don't even have to do it myself. Red Steve is absolutely having you off there with that.
To be fair for Red Steve, that's quite polite.
It is quite polite. He's usually very abusive towards me, and I've got used to it. I've literally settled into life as being abused by Red Steve on numerous occasions throughout a week. But that's your winners and losers. So let's move across to Conroy, winner of the week.
Well, it kind of correlates with Chris. Thanks for that, Chris, stealing the thunder. But no, only joking, mate. It was Josh King.
It's because you stole my answer.
No, I know. Sorry, mate. Chris never forgets. But Josh King is, I've said before, proven Premier League striker. When he was at Bournemouth, he could play behind the striker with Wilson. Intelligent, good footballer. And I actually wanted us to be in for him. I've liked Josh King. If you watch the type of goals he scores, you can tell he is intelligent, even at his Blackburn Rovers time in the Championship. And I always thought he was good enough for the league. And I know it didn't work out for Everton, but I watched the highlights a bit like Gav. I had the match of the day highlights on, and to see King score those goals, and actually it was like the first one just kind of kicked his confidence in as well, because then it's his actually second goal where he takes the top off and goes a bit mad, and in the last goal he doesn't cut it back, he rolls it back on his left foot, and actually he waits a little second and he just passes it in with his left, his right foot rolls it back and passes it in with his left foot. I was really happy for him because I do rate him, and I was buzzing for him, and to score a hat-trick like that when you probably think Bournemouth went down, you've been bandied around a few teams, it's not working out, and then to kick your Premier League season like that, fair play. And yeah, I think he deserves a shout out.
Yeah, I definitely think he does. You know, he's at Everton there and he plays 11 games, and I just think he was there at the wrong time. I've been impressed with Josh King anytime I've kind of watched him. I like the way he plays. He's strong, he's quick, he's direct, he's an eye for goal. He's done really well at Bournemouth. Injury or two though, I think has hurt him. But in saying that, you know, to come back and do that to Everton was just glorious. And I seen a video today of it's from the main stand in Goodison, and there's a good video on his phone, and he's absolutely just gone from level 1 to level 10, apoplectic. It was so fucking good. Loser of the week, Conroy.
Loser of the week is any broadcaster that doesn't employ Peter Drury. Like, because he's actually, it's not even a fluke now. He's actually that good. It's getting ridiculous. I know you got the one there, Gav, but in that, I think as well, it was like, there's a few times in that commentary where he just smashes it as usual. You're meant to feel the emotion, you know, you're not meant to feel, is that commentator being biased or is he being too unbiased? You're just meant to enjoy it. And I feel like there's other guys, Jim Beglin, I just think they're on a different level. And to be honest, I'm just getting a bit annoyed. Why have we not got these commentators are genuinely the best at what they do. So my loser of the week is any broadcaster who's not employing these. You can maybe say AKA Sky Sports and BT. Mm-hmm. I just don't see why other countries are doing it, and they're great at their job. So they are the best. So just wanted to shout out them.
Peter Drury is very poetic in the way he seems to
very articulate.
I don't know what, like, you hear people saying like that commentators script this, and if he scores they'll do this and they'll say this and that, but it seems to roll off Peter Drury's tongue like it's just so natural. Like that one there when Salah scores, Peter Drury's words are, and he captures the moment. The man is extraordinary. The match is extraordinary. The scoreline is extraordinary. Mo Salah.
But that's like, beauty levels, Gav. You know, he's trying to, like, he feels like that makes people feel it. You know, they're going to remember that. It's got to be, because it's iconic game. And it's like, but then you just get, Liverpool scored. It's like, we just scored a 5th goal at Old Trafford, mate, honestly.
Yeah. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. Kev, winner of the week.
Ibrahim Konaté.
Nice, like it. Talk to me.
I was a fan of his, like Keith, when he was at Red Bull, and I thought he's the one. He's definitely the one I thought we should be after. I watched him for France in the under-21s, and he just looked a colossus. He's a boss. Then when he come in, you know the bedding in period, you know it comes, and you saw a glimpse of him. And then you see the team sheet and you're like, holy shit, he's done it. He's only gone and done it. First time he's partnered with Virgil. First time he's played with that back four. We caught United offside 7 times in that game. Mm-hmm. That line was perfect.
Yeah.
He never dropped. He never flinched on a set piece. The only worry was maybe being dragged out to the right-hand side once or twice, but when he did, he handled himself and got back in. It was a huge occasion. He'd have grown up watching this game. This is the biggest club game in the world over the weekend. It was the most watched game in world football this weekend. And here's this kid making his away debut against your bitter rivals in a back four that he's never played with outside of training. And he was fucking perfect. And then you see the size of him, like, he should be a second row for France. Never mind the centre back for us. He's a unit. And he's only going to get better. The scary thing is, he's going to give Deschamps a decision to make this summer. because I think he's that good. And if he kicks on this season and has the season I think he's capable of having, he'll go to the World Cup and he'll start. And if he's not starting, the French public will be on the
Asking
demanding.
questions. Yeah, because
he's got the capabilities to be much better than what Varane is. Now, Varane is a good centre back, but he's not a leader. If this kid develops a vocal side to his game and a leadership side to his game that we've yet to see, he's going to be different. He's going to be levels. Honest to God, we have no idea how good this kid is going to be.
Yeah,
and for the price we paid, it's almost like you should go back and say, look, let's have 10. Go on, have another 10. Just, we're sorry.
Yeah, we feel
didn't
bad.
mean it.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, it's not like he's moved and gone to say, or he's still in Germany, where do the French public pay an awful lot of attention to German football. He's in the Premier League and everyone watches it, regardless of where you're from, what your allegiance are. Everyone watches it, and I think, you know, I think you have a point. I think if he pushes on and he pushes Matip to be Virgil van Dijk's partner and plays the majority of games for Liverpool this season, coupled with the fact that Liverpool could go deep in the Champions League, you'd have to look around and go, why isn't he starting? You know, you'd have to look around and go, why isn't he in the squad? Why isn't he pushing to start? And yeah, I think he could. I think he could give the Shams
between himself and Jules Koundé, between the two of them, they're the two that are really going to push. And I think if you're doing it for Liverpool in the Premier League, that pushes you ahead of Jules Koundé doing it at Seville.
Yeah, but the only thing I would say is, and Darren Dunbar, he's a bloody unit. Darren, was that you yesterday roiling up Barry Glendenning on Twitter? I think it was you. Fair play to you. Was it? It might have been you. I'm not too sure. But basically, someone was winding up Barry Glendenning, who does he does the podcast with Richardson, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does the Guardian one.
Yeah,
he does the Guardian
one. Basically, Barry Glendenning was saying, you know, you're not getting better analysis off fan TV, blah 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 blah, and I think it was Darren. I could be wrong, but he said, well, you should watch the Daytrippers if you want an unbiased opinion and proper football chat. And I just told Barry, I said, Barry, I wouldn't bother me. We got drunk and talked about our favourite karaoke songs. And in fairness, Glendenning did turn around and go, sounds good to me. So he probably did listen. So if you're listening now, Barry, you're very welcome. Hit like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, there you go. We get Steve off you. We get Red Steve off you. But anyway, yeah, I think you're right. I think they might have a decision to make. But having said that, as I said, some people in the chat there are saying keep him away from fucking international.
That might just be down to game time, guys. If he becomes like the recognised pairing for the rest of the season, but if it's maybe not sparingly, but you know, Matip maybe if he's injury free plays a majority, do you think that might come down to decisions as well?
Yeah, it could do. It absolutely could do.
Because it's a late World Cup as well. You know, he's got the rest of this season and the first half of next season to cement it.
Yeah.
You never know. I mean, these kids will have grown up on Laurent Blanc and Leboeuf and the history of France winning World Cups. Look, they're going to want to play. So I hope he's in with a shout, because if he's in with a shout for playing for France, that means he's doing the job for us. We've just bought an absolute diamond for a pittance.
Yeah, and you know what? People are saying keep him away from international football, but if he plays that well for Liverpool, it means we're doing something right, and we're somewhere at the business end of the season, and that means that's the swings and roundabouts. Darren Dunbar confirms that it was him having a go off Barry Glendenning yesterday. Steve Thomas says
Darren, that's brilliant, mate. That's
Glendenning
class.
is a funny man. I'm sure Barry kind of looked and went, hold on, is this a podcast telling me not to watch them? Because they're just drunk people that like karaoke. And it was basically that, yeah, because I've got to the stage now where, listen, likes, subscriptions, all are great. But I'm just here to have a good time. And whatever comes with it, comes with it. That's the way I am. I've literally got
cans and chaos, mate.
Cans and chaos,
yeah,
and having a good time. And anything else that comes after that. Life's too short. Have a good time. And if we get bigger and bigger as we go, great. If we don't, I'm happy doing this with whoever's watching now, and we just keep drinking cans and having a great time, genuinely. Kev, loser of the week.
I'll tell you what, he's getting away with it at the minute, but Nuno Espirito Santo is absolutely getting away with
being a spoofer.
Well, the fact that Ollie is having such a good time at the wheel is deflecting a lot of attention away from a fair few managers in this league. No more so than Espirito Santo. The idea, I was you know what? I felt so sorry for Matt because
Well, there's Matt there. Matt Hayes says, I truly do not care what this man has to say ever when it comes to Nuno Espirito Santo.
Matt's the most Tottenham fan you'll see in your lifetime, but he will call a spade, and he will tell it as it is. And he's seen enough. And in all fairness, they're third in their Europa Conference League group.
Yeah.
You know, and Rennes will win it. Rennes are good. Rennes are a decent side, and Rennes will probably top that group. That means Tottenham are out of the Conference League. That's probably, look, they're not fussed about it. It's a no win for them anyway. They're not going to make any money out of it. At best, you can qualify for the Europa League, but it's not the defeats. Sides lose games all the time. West Ham are a good side. It's the manner of the defeats. It's the manner of the football that he's playing. This is what we were saying earlier on. Tottenham should be looking at how we dismantled Manchester United last weekend, going into this weekend, 5 o'clock kickoff. The eyes of the world are going to be on that game more so than any other. And Tottenham has some good footballers in that midfield that can play through that United side if he sets them up that way. He done it with Wolves, and he's made Wolves the most boring. They went from an entertaining side to the most boring side in the league to watch. Now they're entertaining again. He's doing the same with Spurs. And it's the one thing throughout the history of watching Spurs, throughout the 80s and the 90s and the noughties, and all the way through, Spurs played entertaining football. It was soft. It was unsuccessful at times. But you knew what you were going to get. You were going to get attacking football. He is the most negative manager I've ever seen in my life. He is robbing a living out of the fact that he was Jose's goalkeeper. And that he's friends with an agent at Wolves that got him in there and fed him players. He's an absolute disaster for Tottenham. And the longer Tottenham stick with him, the bigger that hole is going to get, because the truth of the matter is at this time of the season, the points difference in the league is minimal. The goal difference doesn't lie. The goal difference tells you the truth about who's having a good season, who's having a bad season, and who's in a false position. Spurs are at a -6 goal difference, and that should put them down around 12th or 13th. Forget where they are at the minute. They're in a false position. They're bottom half, mid-table side, with their main striker who's looking to get out the door, and Heung-Min Son sat there looking at, you want me to take balls off my chest from 50, 60 yards? That's not my game. You know, and that's what he's asking him to do. The head tennis that he tried against Arsenal was a joke. You know, I've yet to see them play a good 90 minutes under him.
I think they've been appalling.
They've overtaken Arsenal as the joke club of the Premier League for me.
Do you know what the big thing for me is? Do you know what the big thing for me with these is? I was thinking about this the other day because I watched Wolves on the Saturday away at Leeds, all right, and I watched Spurs away at West Ham on the Sunday. And the difference here is that I think he's quite a pragmatic manager. I think he's quite a defensive manager that looks to hitch on the break if possible, right? And at Wolves, yes, he was being fed players. He definitely was, right? But he was being fed players that were looking to prove themselves and move on, i.e. Jota, maybe Neves that'll move on, a Traore may move on.
Neto would come in as well.
Neto was the same. I'm amazed that was Patricio in goal has moved on. But when you look at, I'm amazed that striker hasn't moved on.
I think if it wasn't for his injury, he'd have been
he would have, yeah, maybe so. But he was getting players in that wanted to go to the next level. So in order to do that, they had to buy into what he was trying to do and do it as the best of their ability as they could, and then get that move, right? Jota being the perfect example of that. What he's gone into now is he's gone into a Spurs that have been riddled with problems because of COVID and the move to that stadium. They made a hugely naive appointment in Jose Mourinho and then got rid of him. And he's gone in there, I would say, as fourth choice in that manager ranks. I think Fonseca was before him. I think Conte was before him. And there was definitely someone else in the mix as well.
Did you say Fonseca as well?
Fonseca was there, yeah. And what he's done is he's gone in and he's trying to put into place what he done at Wolves with a squad with way more egos in it. and I don't think the work ethic in it, and I don't think the willingness to try even change. And I think you're seeing that in Harry Kane massively. I think you're seeing that in Son to a certain extent, and I definitely think you're seeing it in the midfield who are looking around. Højbjerg's a footballer. He's a good footballer. He's a six, but he's a good footballer. You know, other players in that midfield. Dele Alli is a footballer, although he's fell off a cliff. But he's a footballer. And when you look at those midfield,
another one.
Yeah, but and Dembele is about getting the ball and moving through midfield with it. And what they're being asked to do is basically bypass the midfield and look for the midfield to pick up scraps. And it's hard to do. It's hard
Do you know
to
what
do.
it's like? It's like watching Jack Charlton in the 90s. Lobbing a ball from back to front over a good midfield.
But the thing with Jack Charlton is he had, despite the players that didn't want it, they committed to what they were trying to do.
Into it. They all bought into it.
This is something that's not bought into it, and I think they're going to struggle, and that's why I think United might go and get something off them. But I think he's definitely. I think.
How long will he last, Gav? How long will he last, Gav?
The only thing I would say is I think Kev's right. I think there's a reflection there because of Solskjaer, what's going on. Maybe Arteta earlier on in the season as well, and he's going under the radar. But you see, Daniel Levy wants to get rid of him. He's paying another load of money, and then they know he's desperate, and then they'll know he's and then someone coming in mightn't fancy it, but go, I'll get 15 million a year out of this. So it's one of those.
Here's the biggest thing with that: Newcastle are going to be looking for a top end manager.
Yeah.
Man United is a job waiting to happen. So any top-end manager worth their salt is going to wait and see what happens. Spurs had their chance in the summer to get a good coach, a good coaching setup.
Yeah.
And they fluffed it. I mean, Daniel Levy, the great deal maker, he's had a disaster. He's had an absolute mare. And this notion that he's some wheeler dealer in the transfer market and this and that, sorry, not having it. He's an absolute spoofer.
Let's be honest. We can also bank on Chelsea might just sack Tuchel if he wins something, because that's showing the Chelsea model. They don't tend to last more than 2 years.
Do you know what, Chris? I don't think that. I think as long as Tuchel can keep the dressing room sweet at Chelsea, and that's a tougher ask because Tuchel's problems with PSG was more to do with the board and Leonardo than it was with the players. There was a couple of egos in there that he wanted out, but his problems were more above his head. But
he had some problems at Dortmund. He's like that at Dortmund, though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He eventually falls out with everyone. He just does it in a slightly different way. So
yeah, he's got an abrasive personality, but I honestly think Chelsea will stick with him for the medium term. I think.
Well, look, I think he's definitely a decent loser of the week. Winners of the week for me are the Liverpool fans inside Old Trafford on Sunday. They had what looked like the best time that I've seen in a long time. So I want to give a shout out to them because they had the absolute crack. Ole is at the wheel. They were making up songs. They were singing along to the tune of United songs and putting their own words to it. They had a ball, and they didn't have to wait long to start it rolling. They were literally 4 minutes after the whistle went. They were 1 up. After 40 minutes, they were 2 up. After 30 minutes, they were 3 up. After 47 minutes, and still in the first half, they were 4 up. And after 50 minutes, they were 5 up. They had the biggest cheer of the day came when Ronaldo's goal was disallowed, and they were shouting his famous "Sui" or whatever the fuck he says. So that was absolute the crack. So fair play to them on that. They're definitely the winners of the week because do you know, not even watching them. And Shawnee made a point of the night. He said, you know, whoever the Sky director was definitely a scouser because he just kept going to the crowd and the content you got over. And then the content out of it since from Liverpool fans that recorded it and stuff like that has been absolutely brilliant. The Redmen TV have a brilliant T-shirt out at the moment, where it's basically Fergie and Kenny's face that you're seeing on the TV and the scoreline. So check that out.
That person's good at their job. You've got to be quick there. That person's quick as anything.
Them boys are good at the merch. In fairness, they've thrown that out, and I did see it.
Oh no, I meant the guy, the photographer who saw.
Oh
Kenny
yeah. Like bang bang, he knew where they were, and he got, and the timing was absolutely unbelievable. But the Redmen TV got that out there, and fair play to them. So if you want a bit of if you want a nice memory of it, walk away and get yourself one of them. I've no problem fucking promoting anybody on this show. As I said, we're here for a good time. They're definitely the winners. they're definitely the winners of the week. The losers
Do you
of
think
the
they were
week.
in shock when they scored the fourth, Gav? Do you actually think if you're in the ground, you probably would have been in shock when the fourth went in? Because I was like,
I've seen content from a few people. I've seen
They were
content
out
from a few people
in the
saying they didn't
gantries,
see
weren't
it.
they? They were out
literally,
getting their pints or something.
yeah, because a lot of people will leave
Right.
just when it goes 45, they'll leg it and try to get out for their point, and then there was a roar, and then someone come down and went, it's 5. Or it's 4. Sorry, it's 4.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow. But Owen Neal says the Ferguson Dalglish thing was amazing. It was cracking. The timing of it was unbelievable.
The fifth one's the best for me. Because you can see everyone coming back who's obviously had a pint or something at half time, so they've not seen it.
they missed 2 goals. Imagine that.
But then you see the other half walking out,
Yeah.
and you can see the conversation where you can see him going, it's 5, and you see loads of us go, oh, okay, turn back around, they go back to
yeah. It's absolutely it was absolutely brilliant. Losers of the week, Manchester United. It's Manchester United. Arsenal, you're off the hook this week. I'll get you back next week. Don't worry about it. But here's a little clip there from NBC, a picture, and it's 65 minutes, and there's thousands streaming out of Old Trafford.
That was a steady stream from about 30 minutes, 35 minutes. When they
there was
showed.
people.
And it's when Tyler said there's a few hundred, and he shows in more a few thousand. Because I was like, you do the maths properly there. There's about 1,000 people.
Red Steve says the tall boys missed the fort. Yeah, they did. That's where I actually heard it. Maybe in John Gibbons, I think, saying that they missed the fort, going down for a point, and then got the shout to say it's 4. But listen, what a day for the Liverpool fans. The loser of the week is Manchester United on so many fucking levels. It's untrue. You know, the Manchester United fans, Manchester United fan TV, various ones, Manchester United affiliated pundits, people on the radio, Gabby Agbonlahor, I have to throw him in there. I can't even go there. But they all felt that United could turn up and do something, and convinced themselves of this, and they were absolutely hopped off. It's as simple as that. They were hopped off. Gary Neville's behaviour during the game was amusing, I have to say. It was amusing. Tyler tried his best. Didn't really get there, but he tried his best. And afterwards, it was painful watching Gary Neville speak about Manchester United and try his best.
It was the best verbal gymnastics
I've seen in a while, because
a non-politician in a long
time. He doesn't have a go at the manager, but when he basically wants people to jump on the backs of the owners, right? And when even Souness mentions the coaches and shows 3 or 4 snippets and says, where are they being coached? He basically has a little snap back at Souness going, well, everyone's going to get the blame here, aren't they? And Souness is like, well, who do you want me to blame? You've lost 5-0 on the pitch, and the people that are responsible for on the pitch, can we not have a go at them? So Gary Neville was embarrassing and painful. He should have had his phone taken up the following morning because he got worse on social media. And then the one thing that really kind of amused me today to a big extent, I wasn't going to have a drink tonight, but because of this I have. They are counting down the minutes until Solskjaer is sacked. They're linking them with every manager they can think of, and at the same time they're telling you it's the owner's fault. Now, before United fans, or if there's anybody in here, are going to jump down my throat about the owners of Manchester United, let me tell you what I understand about the owners of Manchester United. They bought that club around 17 years ago on a loan. They never gave a penny. And what they've done is they've used Manchester United's money to pay it back. They've taken probably between £1 and £1.5 billion out of the club on top of that in that time that has passed since probably 2004, I think, or 2005 when they buy it. They are on the verge of selling shares worth 170 million, which they will keep for themselves. And they're probably sitting on a 3 billion asset that's currently running at a 450 million pound loss. Out of that loss, they take that out of the 3 billion that they could sell it for. They walk away with 2.5 billion on top of that 1.5 billion. So they've taken 4 billion out of Manchester United in 16, 17 years. And I fully understand the frustrations from Manchester United fans. But to turn around and tell you that it's the Glazers that's at fault for what happened on Sunday, and everything is Glazers out because of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is madness, in my opinion. Madness. It wasn't a couple of weeks ago that Gary Neville was backing Manchester United to finish above Liverpool in the league. He was telling you that there was something not quite right at Liverpool. And he was telling you that because of the signings, of Varane, Sancho and Cristiano Ronaldo, United would at least finish second. He didn't feel he could win the league because he didn't sign Harry Kane, apparently. That was his fallback. That was his insurance policy. Okay, but it's gone from that to it's all the Glazers' fault again. Okay, their only fault is keeping hold of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Everything else is down to him, that man, and what he's done. He has brought a lot of them players in. He's decided to keep a lot of them on, and he's put in place tactics, the way they play, the way they run around, and I can't understand. You can't use the Glazers day in and day out. You simply can't. So they are the losers of the week. I'm sorry for going on about it for so long, but something needs to be said when a group of supporters and fan TV, pundits, radio people, people affiliated with Manchester United are literally using a thing about the owners that they shut up about when Cristiano Ronaldo walked through the door, and they use that as an excuse, and then wanting the manager out on top of that. If they want the manager out, they should be blaming him on what he's done. They don't seem to be. They seem to be not blaming Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but blaming the owners because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is there, not because not what he's done or what he's achieved or not achieved. So it's one of those. But I'm sorry about going on, but they are most definitely the losers of the week. I think that's about it. We're bang on an hour and a half. We're getting good at this. We're getting good at this.
No funny noises tonight.
No funny noise. I've kept them off as a mark of respect to I don't know who kept them. A mark of respect to whoever you feel like it being a mark of respect to. Sienna Steps, as I said at the start of the show, 4,000 short of the 120 grand. She is going to make it there. There is some stuff going on. Nights that they're putting on in order to raise that money. I think she's going to America in probably 2 weeks' time. So, look, if they can absolutely make that official in the next 2 weeks, it'd be brilliant. And look, if they go above the 120 and get to 125 and it makes them even more comfortable in what they're paying for in the recovery, that's brilliant. So the link is in the description. Go and check that out. It's in the show description. It's on our Twitter. It's on our website. It's everywhere. The new show that's coming in a month's time, it's called Man On Football Channel. That is in the description as well. It's a YouTube channel. It's going to be 2 shows a week to start off with. It's going to be broad football discussion from, if we find something interesting in Wales, we're going to talk about it. But we're also going to go mad over some player in the MLS at the same time. We're going to do 2 shows a week. We're going to have loads of fun doing it. We want people to come and support it. And not only support it, but have a laugh at it. We literally want to have a laugh at it. We're going to start supporting football clubs, obscure ones. We're going to be giving updates on them, and we're going all sorts
SPFL chatting there, guys. Some SPFL.
The 3rd division in Scotland. And
Queen's Park.
I might try see if there's any decent golf courses near Elgin and make it. I'm going to Elgin for work. And
a few beautiful distilleries, mate. A few beautiful distilleries.
There you go. I can mix it all up there. So listen, if you check it out in the description, we're launching in about a month, 2 shows a week to start with. But if people like it, we're going to make that more and more, as much as time will allow us. So that's about it. Chris, anything else before we go?
Yeah, just keep an eye out for LFC Women. They're playing on Sunday against Lewis. So if they win, they've got a chance of going top of the league.
We've a women's show coming at the end of the week, haven't we?
Yeah, fingers crossed. We're just waiting to get one more person tied down, but fingers crossed that should be out hopefully Saturday. So fingers crossed. So the women are doing well at the moment. 3 wins on the bounce and beat Villa on penalties in the cup. So it's going well.
Okay, good stuff. And as I said, yeah, we're just finalising another one of those monthly shows, aren't we? Which have gone really well. I've really enjoyed them. So anyone that hasn't watched that, go and look up the women's show playlist on our YouTube, and you can check them out. Conroy, anything else before we go?
No, mate. Just check out Ian Holloway's recent interview. I sent Gav it. Absolutely hilarious. Absolutely, what a character Ian Holloway is. So open goal on YouTube. It's an interview with Ian Holloway. You watch it and you feel like running through a brick wall. The guy's just outstanding, so check that out.
Okay,
yeah, he's all right for a gas head.
Kev O'Sullivan, anything else before we go?
All good, mate. All good. Congratulations to Republic of Ireland women's team tonight. Did a good away win in Finland 2-1 and put themselves in with a chance of qualification for the World Cup. So that'll be huge if they can get there. Okay. England had a win tonight, I think 10-0
10-0 against Latvia.
Yeah.
I said the Republic only just missed out the Euros, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly. I think if we carry on the way we're going and win the games we're expected to win, then we should get into a playoff for the World Cup. So fingers crossed for the girls.
Good stuff. Women's football definitely on the way up, and a lot more people paying attention to it, which is a really good thing. Red Steve has two comments in here that I want to finish on. The first one, the man-on-man action channel. I don't know what you're insinuating there, Red Steve, but it wouldn't be like you to finish off without throwing something their way, because you're a nice area and it's not like you. But he does finish off with, there is a jet fighter at the petrol station in Elgin. No joke. So he's not even telling jokes. So there must be a jet fighter just in the car.
Yeah, no, you do. I get there's one like kind of. I've seen a few. You get kind of like the wee memorial bit and the jet fighter. There's a few of them in Scotland actually. Yeah, Scotland's pretty class, guys. Pretty good. Like
I've been to Edinburgh, but I genuinely I watch a YouTube channel called Golf Mates, and it's basically lads from around the Bolton area. They've 160,000 subscribers. It's a brilliant channel, but they basically go playing golf in the local club. Then they might go off in parts of Lancashire, Yorkshire. Then they go off. They've been over in the United Arab Emirates playing golf all over the place. But they've done a trip. They've done one trip in particular where they've rented a camper van. Now a big one, like an RV, like a decent size one, fits about 4 lads in it, which are golf clubs and everything. And they've done a trip around Scotland playing golf, and it's genuinely gone onto my bucket list. Like I couldn't think of anything better than picking up a van like that, lashing the golf clubs in, and just driving and finding a pub and a golf course.
There's loads of golf courses as well, Gav, in Scotland. There's loads.
I genuinely would love to do it. Genuinely, I'd love to go to Scotland and do it. Because Scotland Ireland has some unbelievable golf courses, but I still think Scotland has the best golf courses in the world. So yeah, it's one of those. Avo says, great show, lads. Thanks for spending the time to please us. No problem at all. We do this as much as we can. Drew is determined to let us know that Mark Obridge's real name is Brent. Fair play. I didn't know that, but there you go. I don't know how it's relevant, but he was determined to let us know. So there you go. We've let people know. Marcus good, in fairness to him. He's good at what he does. Some of the videos over the weekend, though, he got absolutely lashed. But I think he takes it in good spirit, in fairness to him. So he knows where he's at. He knows the game he's in, and he's prepared to take it. Someone clipped him up to bits before the game and threw it into when the game was actually going on. And it was brilliant viewing, but I think Mark it's water off a duck's back. Rest of the week, tomorrow pre and post match for Preston. Thursday is Carnage. Friday is Sports Unplugged. Me and Kev are back again for that. Pre and post match Saturday. Keith is looking after the Fatback 4 on Sunday, because me and Shawnee are going for a drink. A really long drink.
Could be a while.
Yeah, a really long drink. So we might be back for Monday. That has been the Midweek Fix. Thanks a million to Chris. Thanks a million to Conroy. Thanks a million to Kev. Thanks a million to everybody in the chat. The comments, as always, were brilliant. There's loads and loads of likes there as well, which will please somebody. It kind of goes over my head, but it'll please somebody. That is it. Talk to you in a bit. Over now.